Ah, Belgium, this European country known for its waffles, the beer, and this little guy. But did you know that it's also the birthplace of some of the most prominent French-speaking artists of the last decade? Like Stromae, Damso, and of course, Angèle, who became an icon of the Me Too movement with her song Balance ton quoi. But what truly happened to Angèle to make her speak out about sexism? Let's talk about it in this video. If you do not live in France, Belgium or Switzerland, you might not know who Angèle is, but you've probably seen her face on a Chanel ad or listened to her music because she's the girl who worked with Dua Lipa on the song Fever a few years ago, and she sang Night Call from the movie soundtrack of Drive at the 2024 Paris Olympic closing ceremony. Angèle grew up in an artistic family in Uccle, a small town just outside of Brussels, the capital of Belgium. She released 2 studio albums, including Brawl in 2019, which includes the single Balance ton quoi, which basically means squeal on your what or denounce your what, a reference to the French Me Too movement called #Balance ton porc, or denounce your abuser in English.
God, now here's my French going, balance à toi. Balance ton quoi? Ton quoi?
As you can see on this map, Belgium and France are very close, so both countries influence each other, and Angèle actually lives between Paris and Brussels. She's also signed to Universal Music France, so it only makes sense that she draws inspiration from her home country and France. But a very specific event led Angèle to write the song Balance ton quoi. One day she was verbally attacked on the subway in Brussels by a man who commented inappropriately on her body and her outfit. This event, among others she had to go through as a woman, left a mark on her, but inspired by the French Me Too movement, she decided to speak out with her own weapon, music. But let's rewind to 2017 to understand the true impact of Me Too on our society. October 5, 2017, the New York Times publishes an article accusing the powerful Hollywood film producer Harvey Weinstein of sexually assaulting several women. Shortly after, Roland Farrow released an investigation bringing even more proofs to the allegation. These revelations were a wake-up call for the film industry. On October 15, 2017, the American actress Alyssa Milano tweeted on the topic and referenced #MeToo created in 2009 by Tarana Burke. Following this tweet, thousands and thousands of testimonies written by women started to flood social media, revealing that sexism was present everywhere in our society, that it did not just concern a few women, but that it was and still is a systemic issue in society. This was the beginning of an international movement against sexism and gender inequalities, spreading way beyond social media. Women of all backgrounds and from all around the world finally had a space to share their experiences, be heard, and sometimes ask for justice, which isn't always delivered by state institutions. But it also sparked conversations publicly and in more intimate circles between women and men, encouraging them to reconsider their behavior. What makes the Me Too movement so groundbreaking is that it does not come from a specific organization. It's a collective awakening. It comes from women being fed up of what they have to go through in the streets, at work, or at home. And it traveled all across the world, including to France, and inspired women like Angèle. On October 13, 2017, the French journalist Sarah Muller tweeted #Balance ton porc, which can be translated to squeal on your pig or denounce your abuser. She wrote the following tweet: "You too give the name of your abuser and details about sexual harassment you experienced at work. I'm waiting for you." This hashtag became the French version of #MeToo and inspired Angèle to write the song Balance ton quoi. In France, the movement denounced that the justice system makes it very hard for women to press charges, that victims were often discouraged by police officers who were not trained enough on the matter, and that lawsuits were dragging for years to often result in the attacker not being found guilty despite testimonies and proofs. Despite thousands of women using the hashtag and protests happening all around the country, the Me Too movement was a very polarizing topic in France, and it was highly debated. Some people were scared that denouncing an attacker on social media could lead to false accusations, and a group of 100 influential women, including the French actress Catherine Deneuve, wrote a tribune in the French newspaper Le Monde, defending the right to be bothered by men because it's part of the seduction process, apparently, and claiming that the Me Too movement could restrain women's sexual freedom. But the positive impact of the French Me Too movement can't be ignored. It had a direct impact on many women who found the strength to take action and call out their abuser. Between October and December 2017, the number of complaints filed for sexual harassment increased by about 31% in France compared to 2016. Between January and August 2018, 36,000 complaints for domestic violence were filed, compared to 10,000 the previous year. The movement had consequences in many fields, including the movie industry, sport, music, the medical world, and even the church. The French Me Too was in fact so powerful that it inspired Angèle to speak about her own experience with sexism. Balance ton quoi is a very pop and catchy song, but it's also very funny, as both the lyrics and music video use comedy and satire as a weapon to pass a message that sexism must end. In the lyrics, Angèle talks about how she's perceived by society and by the music industry. The comments she receives like, "You're not that stupid for a pretty girl, you're not that ugly for a funny girl." She advocates for freedom of speech for all women. But the music video, directed by Charlotte Abramoff, is what truly gives the song its power. It gives a key to significantly decrease sexism and normalize consent: education. In the video, Angèle plays many characters: a lawyer, a judge, a victim, and a therapist who tries to educate men and women about consent through communication and empathy at the Anti-Sexism Academy. She faces two men arguing, one of them being played by the famous French actor Pierre Ninet. But when a woman tries to settle the matter, they abruptly interrupt her and team up to call her hysterical. Yes, this scene is exaggerated, but it underlines some truth. The video also raises issues like salary gap between men and women, and especially women of color. As a reminder, a man is paid 22% more on average than a woman for the same job in Belgium. The irony is that in the lyrics, Angèle said she would probably not be played on the radio because the lyrics aren't very polite or not enough for radio stations, but this song was everywhere on French and Belgian radios for weeks and weeks, becoming a diamond single in France with more than 50 million streams in less than a year and 4 times platinum in Belgium. The song was a massive hit, and the music video has more than 125 million views on YouTube. It became an instant classic among young feminist women, and it's often played at protests for gender equality in France and in Belgium. Balance ton quoi became a feminist anthem. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment, and make sure to watch other videos we made like this one, about Marvin Gaye or The Clash.